Hey, what's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? This is JB right here, host of Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. And I just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew, Shad, Kelvin, and Jermaine. And for everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench and become a subscriber and help make the show the best that it can possibly be in the world of sports. Now, check it out. I just want to touch on the NBA draft, the 2023 NBA draft, to be precise. And as expected, Victor Wembanyama was selected with the number one pick by the San Antonio Spurs. So I know the Spurs organization and its fans alike are very excited about their immediate future and long-term future. And hopefully, he becomes an amazing player in the NBA. Looks like he has the potential to do it and the talent to do it. So as they say, time will tell. But I wanted to highlight something that I've been noticing over the past couple of years. I remember during the 90s, for fans who was watching NBA basketball during that time, I remember the NBA lifted its restrictions for high school players, and we saw an influx of prep basketball players entering the league right out of high school. From Kevin Garnett to Kobe Bryant to Kwame Brown, Darius Miles, Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, we can go down the line. LeBron James and the like. And then college basketball, NCAA, and the NBA agreed to start the one and done system, where a college player had to complete a minimum of 1 year of school before he's eligible to enter the professional ranks. But I noticed something. Now, along with the influx of international players being drafted at the top of the lottery, teams are now drafting American players that have, now, along with international players being drafted, we're seeing an increase in G League players being drafted to the league, high in the lottery. But most importantly, I'm starting to see a trend where teams are drafting players with the minimum of 2 years of some level of intermediate basketball experience, whether it be college or G League. Let's take a look at it. Let's look at Benedict Mandarin, who was drafted by the Indiana Pacers last year. And I believe he played 2 years of basketball, collegiate basketball, out of the University of Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. Well, his rookie year with Indiana, he was one of the leading candidates for Rookie of the Year. Didn't he average like 16, 17 points a game? Well, that's what players used to do in the 80s and 90s on average when they entered the pro ranks. Instead of coming in average 9 a game, they would come in average about 16 a game if you're a top player selected in the draft. New Orleans Pelicans have drafted multiple players that have played 3 years of college basketball, or in some cases 4 years of college basketball, like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. And they are making immediate contribution to their team. So much so where they've been inserted into the starting lineup and helping their team be successful in the grand scheme of things. So I'm seeing a lot of players. Keegan Murray out of the University of Iowa, he was drafted by the Sacramento Kings last year. He had an outstanding rookie season, and he was one of the main reasons why the Sacramento Kings were able to go to the playoffs this past season and push Golden State to the limit and forced a game 7 before Golden State prevailed. So Sacramento has an amazing future for itself. But the fundamental aspect of team building is returning back to the basics. is returning back to the essential building block to team building, and it's through the draft. It's of the utmost importance this decade. Free agency will not be the main component, especially when it comes to attracting superstars, because there's not going to be any available superstars as far as becoming free agents for the foreseeable future. And the only way you're going to be able to acquire a superstar, especially one in his prime, you're going to have the assets to do it. And because of that, and especially with this new CBA, collective bargaining agreement, that kicks off next season for the 23-24 NBA campaign, you're going to have to draft to build a team, complete a team, to eventually where you can say, we are ready to begin competing for a championship, where the process may take 4 to 5 years. But instead of going the shortcut route, trying to win now, well, that's not a guarantee. So you may as well build a legitimate, authentic team that's going to originate from the draft. And because of that, teams are drafting more astutely. They're drafting in a manner that's based on logic. And you can see a lot of young teams out here that are improving incrementally over these past couple of years to now, where they finally ready to take that next step and, pretty much rise up the ranks and move up in the standings, particularly in that Western Conference. That Western Conference is going to be a beast. Houston drafting players. San Antonio drafting players. So they're going to be better next year. New Orleans Pelicans continue to draft players in. Oklahoma City continue to draft players in. And they're drafting a combination of shooters, 3-and-D wings, and guard play. A lot of guards were drafted last week to their respective teams throughout the league. So I just want to throw it out there real quick. I know the draft may not be as exciting as free agency, but at the end of the day, the draft within the draft is that teams are now looking at players with multiple years of experience, which makes sense because when they enter the pros, they are more equipped, their skill development is more advanced, and they're more physically mature to come in right away and make that immediate impact for a team. And that way, a team has more options and won't feel that they have to go for broke and try to throw all their chips in the middle of the table to win now or to pursue that home run move. Because there's not going to be a lot of home runs out there this decade. And the new CBA is seeing to it. So the draft will be more important than trades. It will be more important than trying to prepare yourself to make a big splash in free agency. Free agency is only going to be used to fill a void on the team that you need to help you take that next step. And that's pretty much what it's going to be like. So I just want to drop that real quick. Like I said, I believe the decade is going to be very exciting because a lot of teams are going to be vying for the championship. I don't believe we're going to see teams, go to the finals 3-4 years in a row. I don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but this is already 2023, and we haven't had a repeat champion since the Golden State Warriors in 2018. So that should say something. So the draft within the draft, and I can't wait till next season start and see this young talent continue to flourish throughout the league. So again, this is JB for Behind the Bench. And until next time, I will holler later.